start with the series of questions that we as candidates have. The first question that strikes our head is, how long should a resume be?
Actually, that's an interesting question, and everybody has a different take on it. My personal take is a resume for a fresher, particularly, should not be more than more than a page, because see, you what you would have done would be more of academic project. So you need not put everything in detail in your resume. You can put in bullet points in terms of, these are the things that I've done, and later during the interview you can explain them. So ideally, a fresher's resume should not go beyond a page.
So it's like we have to, simplify our achievements and what all we have done in the past 18, 20 years and on a single page.
Yes, kind of. So you have to put everything, but then yes, in a simplified manner.
Okay, sir. So also like this single page resume specifically, how can we make it unique? If you could tell us some points about that.
So a resume basically has certain things which it should have rather. So first is it is preferred if you can put a photograph in your resume. Your academic qualification should be there. When I say qualification, it should entail your percentage, your duration. So those things are a must in a resume. How to make it unique? It's not any flowery language that makes it unique. It's uh, it's your reflection. It's a reflection of your personality that should be there in your resume. If a resume is authentic, if it has a certain set of achievements which you have had during your course of time, I think it is a good resume. It doesn't matter if your resume has 10 achievements or 20 or one. It should be authentic. That's what makes resume a unique one.
Okay, so now when we're talking about authenticity, do you feel it's right for candidates to lie in their resumes? Maybe their dream
Never.
company.
Whatever may be the case, you should never lie. Any organization that you are applying for, the first and foremost thing that they look after is authenticity, attitude, and an ethical behavior. If you are lying in your resume, it shows your ethics and how it might reflect in your work, even when if you join the organization. So lying on a resume is a big no-no. And trust me, panels who are interviewing you are smart enough to understand if you are lying or not. They will ask you certain questions which only students who have actually done those things would know and would be able to answer. So I'll just give you an example. So last time when I was doing an interview, there are students who just put up things there just for the sake of it. When I ask those questions to them, even if their interview has went well for that candidate, but just because he was not, truthful about what he has done in the resume, it gave a very wrong impression, and at the end of the day, he was not selected. So lying in a resume is a strict no-no, at least for me and most of the organizations for sure.
So what we can do is portray the best of ourselves in front of the interviewers, and then
Yes,
let's see where it takes us.
correct.
Okay. So when we're coming to making resumes, there's one more aspect. We are putting up our skills on that piece of paper. So do you
Correct.
think it is right to rate those skills that we are putting up there?
So it is always a good practice to rate your skills basis your understanding. But that being said, say for example, if you are putting, for example, say you're putting Java as your skill, okay, and you just know the basics of it, rate it accordingly. If it's a 10-pointer scale, rate it as maybe 4 or 5 or so. And if you think that you have proper hands-on and you have done good work in Java, maybe put it as 7 or 8 or something, because rating it too high gives a wrong impression as well. So it's a very, it's a thin line. You have to maintain it. You have to be very careful while rating it. Though it's a good practice, but you have to be very careful about it.
So it's again, a task of authenticity that we have to practice here also. Okay. So moving on to the next question that we have is, when we are making a resume, we have so many achievements and other things that we have done. So do you think that mentioning the dates or maybe the years in which they were accomplished important? Yes,
Okay,
sir.
yeah. So about the dates and timeline, it is actually important to put it up there because it gives a fair idea to the panelists, the recruiters, as to when you actually passed the exams and what exactly you have been doing since then. So, for example, say I am interviewing a candidate. If the candidate has passed his graduation in the year 2020, 2019, and I'm interviewing him in 2020. So until and unless I don't know his duration, I wouldn't know that since past 1 year he has been what he has been doing. So that gives me an opportunity to question him in terms of see, you have graduated in 19, since past 1 year what have you been doing. So it gives avenues and helps understand the candidates better.
So we should, keep a note of putting it up there, the years and whenever a thing was done.
Yeah,
Okay,
true.
so moving on to the next question. Should a professional resume contain the signature of the candidate and maybe a declaration by the candidate stating that whatever has been put up is true, like that?
Okay, so this practice started because of the reason that earlier resumes used to be handwritten. Everything used to be on paper, and in order to authenticate that resume, we used to have this declaration and signature and everything. Nowadays, everything is digital. If you are sending me a resume, you are sending it via an email or WhatsApp or whatever may be the case. It still gives a digital implant or a implant of your identity, that yes, this person has sent this resume, and since it's an email chain or a WhatsApp message or whatever, it shows that this has been shared by you. So in today's era, I don't think a signature or a declaration uh, has any relevance per se. Earlier it used to have, but now it doesn't. So that is what my perspective is for it.
So I think we should avoid that. That will also, save us some space to add some more achievements or maybe something that
Yes,
skills that we've acquired.
yes,
So,
true.
so we move to the last question that we have for you for the day. Do you feel that when we are sending across a resume to a recruiter, is it essential to add a cover letter to it?
So cover letters have traditionally been used by lateral hires. So if a person who has a prior experience and is sending a resume, it is still a good practice to send a cover letter. But for a fresher, I think it wouldn't be that necessary. Given the basic reasons are, for a recruiter, they hardly give maybe 15 to 30 seconds to a resume. In order for them to take a look at it, I think most of the times a recruiter looks at their academic qualifications, their achievements, their internships, and it is done. A cover letter for a fresher might not be necessary.
So I think that saves them some extra, extra pressure of writing a cover letter. They'll be a little, they
True,
must be
true.
feeling a little eased right now. So, sir,
Yeah, yeah, true. It's
yeah.
yeah,
So
it's a good practice, but preferably for lateral hires and not for freshers.
we'll keep that also in mind. It's going to save us some time. So it was great having you here with us, solving some of our big major doubts. I hope many people, watching this video must be satisfied right now. So thank you so much for coming here with us and helping us do this thing for the freshers and the people who are now looking for jobs. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Aditi.
And all the people who are watching this right now, if you still have any unanswered questions, you may please drop them in the comment section below so that we can get back to you with the answers to those questions. Please like and share the video with your friends. Thank you for joining us.